A Treatise on Good Works, together with the Letter of Dedication by Dr. Martin Luther, 1520. Dedication, Jesus. To the illustrious high-born Prince and Lord, John Duke of Saxony, Landgrave of Thuringia, Margrave of Meissen, my gracious Lord and Patron. Illustrious high-born Prince, gracious Lord, my humble duty and my feeble prayer for your grace always remembered. For a long time, gracious Prince and Lord, I have wished to show my humble respect and duty toward your princely grace by the exhibition of some such spiritual wares as are at my disposal, but I have always considered my powers too feeble to undertake anything worthy of being offered to your princely grace. Since, however, my gracious Lord Frederick, Duke of Saxony, Elector and Vicar of the Holy Roman Empire, your Grace's brother, has not despised, but graciously accepted my slight book, dedicated to his electoral grace, and now published, though such was not my intention, I have taken courage from his gracious example, and ventured to think that the princely spirit, like the princely blood, may be the same in both of you, especially in gracious kindness and goodwill. I have hoped that your princely grace likewise would not despise this my humble offering, which I have felt more need of publishing than any other of my sermons or tracts. For the greatest of all questions has been raised, the question of good works, in which is practiced immeasurably more trickery and deception than in anything else, and in which the simple-minded man is so easily misled, that our Lord Christ has commanded us to watch carefully for the sheep's clothings under which the wolves hide themselves. Neither silver, gold, precious stones, nor any rare thing has such manifold alloys and flaws as have good works, which ought to have a single simple goodness, and without it are mere color, show, and deceit. And although I know and daily hear many people who think slightingly of my poverty, and say that I write only little pamphlets and German sermons for the unlearned laity, this shall not disturb me. Would to God I had in all my life, with all the ability I have, helped one layman to be better. I would be satisfied, thank God, and be quite willing then to let all my little books perish. Whether the making of many great books is an art and a benefit to the Church, I leave others to judge. But I believe that if I were minded to make great books according to their art, I could, with God's help, do it more readily perhaps than they could prepare a little discourse after my fashion. If accomplishment were as easy as persecution, Christ would have long since been cast out of heaven again, and God's throne itself overturned. Although we cannot all be writers, we all want to be critics. I will most gladly leave to anyone else the honor of greater things, and not be at all ashamed to preach and to write in German for the unlearned layman. Although I too have little skill in this, I believe that if we had hitherto done, and should henceforth do more of it, Christendom would have reaped no small advantage, and have been more benefited by this than by the great deep works and questions which are used in the schools among the learned. Then too I have never forced or begged anyone to hear me or to read my sermons. I have freely ministered in the Church of that which God has given me, and which I owe the Church. Whoever likes it not may hear and read what others have to say. And if they are not willing to be my debtors, it matters little. For me it is enough, and even more than too much, that some laymen condescend to read what I say. Even though there were nothing else to urge me, it should be more than sufficient that I have learned that your princely grace is pleased with such German books, and is eager to receive instruction in good works and the faith, with which instruction it was my duty, humbly and with all diligence, to serve you. Therefore, in dutiful humility, I pray that your princely grace may accept this offering of mine with a gracious mind, until, if God grant me time, I prepare a German exposition of the faith in its entirety. For at this time I have wished to show how in all good works we should practice and make use of faith, and let faith be the chief work. If God permit, I will treat at another time of the faith itself, how we are daily to pray or recite it. I humbly commend myself herewith to your princely grace. Your princely grace's humble chaplain, Dr. Martin Luther, from Wittenberg, March 29th, A.D. 1520.